I used to think I was living the dream. I married the guy I fell in love with in college. We bought our first home together, and we had just welcomed our beautiful baby girl into the world. Everything seemed perfect on the outside, like a fairy tale wrapped in fresh paint and Instagram smiles. The first few weeks after the baby arrived were tough, though. If you've ever had a newborn, you know the sleepless nights, the constant crying, and that overwhelming feeling of, am I doing this right? But even through the exhaustion, I felt this deep joy. Holding my daughter made every struggle worth it. My husband, David, had always been supportive, or so I thought. In the beginning, he'd help with feedings, make me tea while I nursed, and even change diapers without me asking. But that changed quickly. About a month in, I noticed he was constantly on his phone, claiming work emergencies. He'd step out to take calls for 20 to 30 minutes at a time, sometimes even during dinner. I chalked it up to stress. Maybe he was feeling the pressure of being a new dad. Maybe he needed space. But in my gut, something didn't feel right. I'd look at him holding our daughter, and a part of me started wondering if that smile was as genuine as it used to be. I tried to bring it up gently one night. I asked if he was okay, if he needed help, or if something was bothering him. He brushed it off, kissed my forehead, and said, "You're just tired. We both are. Everything's fine." But it wasn't. A week later, I found out he was lying. I was doing laundry and his phone lit up on the bed. I wasn't trying to snoop, but the message preview was right there. It read, "I miss you too. Can't wait to see you again." My heart dropped. I didn't even touch the phone. I didn't need to. I already knew what it meant. I sat on the edge of our bed, holding one of our baby's tiny onesies in my hands, trying to wrap my head around it. How could he? How could he do this to me? To us, right after we brought a new life into this world. My emotions were all over the place. Anger, betrayal, heartbreak. But most of all, I felt this crushing sadness. This wasn't just about me anymore. We had a daughter. She deserved better. And I wasn't about to let her grow up in a home built on lies. That was the moment I knew. He may have broken my heart, but I wasn't going to let him break my spirit. After seeing that message, something in me switched. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I went cold. I had to protect myself and my daughter now. I needed to be smart. So I started paying attention. David had gotten lazy. He didn't even bother hiding his phone anymore. I began watching his patterns, how he'd step outside around the same time every night, how he suddenly had work trips he never used to take. I didn't confront him yet. I wanted to know exactly what I was dealing with. One night, while he was in the shower, I finally checked his phone. My hands were shaking, but I knew I had to look. There were dozens of messages. Her name was Rachel. Apparently, they'd met at a work conference 2 months before our baby was born. 2 months. That means he was already cheating while I was pregnant. The worst part? He told her everything. About me, about the baby. And she didn't care. She even called me clingy in one of the messages, like I was some obstacle in their little fantasy life. That's when the heartbreak turned into anger. I copied everything. Screenshots, call logs, hotel receipts from his email. I saved them all to a private folder and backed them up in the cloud. I wasn't sure what I'd do next, but I knew I had to keep my head clear. This wasn't just about revenge. It was about getting out, and getting out strong. He had no idea I knew. He kissed me goodnight that evening like everything was normal. But inside, I was already planning how to make sure he'd never forget what he did to the woman who gave him everything. For the next few days, I acted normal, like nothing had changed. I still made his coffee, still asked about his day. He had no clue I was done playing house. But behind the scenes, I was meeting with a lawyer. I found a woman who specialized in divorce cases involving infidelity. She didn't just give me legal advice, she gave me strength. We went over everything I had collected. She told me that because I had proof, And because our baby was still so young, I had a strong case for full custody and financial support. I also made sure to gather everything I'd need: bank statements, passwords, titles, even things like his social media habits. I documented how often he was home, how often he wasn't, every lie, every time he missed a feeding or came home smelling like someone else's perfume. I kept track of it all. Meanwhile, I started quietly moving my most valuable belongings into a storage unit I rented under my maiden name. Family photos, sentimental keepsakes, baby stuff, anything I couldn't risk losing in a blow-up. Then I set the final trap. I told him I was planning a little welcome back dinner for him and asked if he'd be home by 7. He agreed. After everything went down, it wasn't easy. I'd be lying if I said I didn't cry at night or question if I made the right choice. I was a new mom, a freshly single woman, and my world had just flipped upside down. But something unexpected happened too. I started to feel peace, real peace. No more walking on eggshells, no more lies, no more fake apologies. Just me, my baby, and the freedom to start over on my own terms. Support came from the places I least expected. My coworkers offered to help with shifts. My mom became my rock. Even a couple of neighbors pitched in when I needed a hand. It reminded me that even when life breaks apart, there are still people who show up. As for him, well, reality hit hard. He got stuck paying child support, couldn't afford to move in with his new girlfriend, and eventually, she left him. Turns out she wasn't so into the single dad with a messy divorce package. Shocking, right? He tried to crawl back more than once. Apologies, promises. It was a mistake, he said. But I didn't let him back in. I forgave, for me, not for him. Because holding on to hate only weighs you down. But I made sure he knew. Actions have consequences. And I wasn't the same woman who used to cry quietly behind closed doors. Now, my daughter and I are building a life filled with joy, honesty, and real love. And every time I look at her, I know I did the right thing. For both of us. Thanks for listening to my story. If it hit you in the heart or made you think twice about what real love should look like, go ahead and like this video. Subscribe for more real-life stories, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. And here's my question to you. If someone betrayed you like this, would you take them back or make sure they never got the chance again? Let me know in the comments. I'm reading all of them.